Hello everyone, welcome to Halo Moon Tarot. This is your weekly singles love reading for Sagittarius. Yeah, someone's got their eye on you. You have a little indecision though, but someone's focused, which means they're going to make a decision. Yeah, this is someone here, they're planning, preparing, hoping for the best. Someone's likely taking off the blindfold to see. We have someone who needs to let go a little ego, but hope and plan and prepare for the best. So this looking good, yeah. This is someone who has goals they hope to achieve. Beautiful. Someone who takes pride in the things they do. I see long-term stability. So someone has to make a decision, but someone needs to see. Let go of a little ego, but definitely there's nothing wrong with taking pride in achievements and goals. Yeah. Look at that. So there's some sort of choice to make. Someone's at a crossroads in their life, the time in their life. They've achieved a lot of goals. So now this has to do with a new path here. So it has to do with someone who needs to make a decision. I do see curiosity. Yeah, taming the beast. But it is an energy of someone here wanting to know everything they can so they feel confident. Tell me about this Two of Swords. Oops, yeah. Someone has to make a decision. Yeah, it has to do with long-term stability. Someone who plans and prepares ahead. They achieve goals. And I see some Sag energy. I see a little Leo energy. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Yeah, some Libra energy. But this is about looking ahead, planning, preparing. Someone's prepared themselves. They've achieved something. Now it's time for the next path. But it has to do with making a decision. Someone's trying to learn everything they can. There's curiosity. Yeah, it has to do with learning. Someone's wiser the things they've experienced. A little skepticism. Sometimes a person a little skeptical, but you can see this is someone also teaching someone how they want to be treated. But it's about applying things that are learned, because someone's learned something. Crossroads. I do see a choice here. Definitely someone here has a choice to make. There is indecision, but I do see once somebody learns everything they need to know, they can make a decision. Yeah, so it has to do with putting an effort in building. See, planning, preparing, hoping for the best, going into it looking like this. This is achievable, something that can be achieved. It's a goal. Someone here has been on this path, this goal. And I do feel someone here should be patting themselves on the back. Yeah, look at, there's change coming. So this is change. Someone's ready for change. It's time to make a choice here. Okay, a life path choice. And if it is a choice between two, this is usually someone who just goes with the flow, but you can see the tables are turning. Someone who, I think, oh yeah, look at, see, this is someone making a decision. They already know, they've learned everything they need to know. So this is about making a commitment, following through. So this is about creating change. Someone here has put a lot of effort into something, but it is about building. Yeah, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of planning and preparing. Just someone being sensible, practical, preparing themselves. Yeah, we have an emperor. So we have somebody who's achieved a lot of goals. They become emperor. Nice. Yeah, very nice. This person's confident. They have confidence and self-control. They can make the right choice. Yeah, it's time to lay a foundation. This has to do with change, but this has to do with a life. Someone's life, changing things. Tell me about the emperor. Why is the emperor here? Yeah, it's the path that someone's been on. See, they're looking at the path they've been on, the goals they've achieved. I think this is someone who still has things they want to achieve, but this is all about, see, it's just someone clearing out. This is about preparing for change, lifestyle changes. But it is somebody who is a very much this is somebody who's kind of got that mover shaker energy. Let's have a look at the Six of Wands for a minute. Yeah, see, taking a pause, looking at things from a different perspective, seeing things a little differently. Yeah, it's all about change. It's time for change, time to build the foundation. Yeah, this has to do with someone reaching out. It's whether someone will reciprocate, but it is about being generous with time and energy, because it is about someone here who's looking to see if the coast is clear, to see if they're ready. Because this is, like I say, it's someone who plans, prepares. They look ahead. They're looking at everything very meticulously. Yeah, someone very particular. Yeah, it's all about reliability, stability. It's about two people who pull their weight, what two people can achieve together. So this is someone who's achieved something on their own, but it's now what two people can achieve together by building a foundation. This is about commitment, it's all about harmony and balance. See, it's an energy of making a decision, being fair, but it's about harmony. Oh, nice. This is all about two people here are going to come together, but it's an energy of what two people can achieve. But this is an energy of someone putting up some boundaries. Somebody putting up boundaries because of things they've experienced. But it's a person who's confident that they're making the right choices. Yeah, it's all about reliability too. See, someone who pulls their weight. This is someone who I feel has done a lot on their own because they can't rely on anyone. But there's a need for change. Maybe some lifestyle changes too. Tell me about the world. Yeah, this is someone who's been kind of expanding their horizons. But I do see someone who's been waiting. This is someone who only waits so long. Yeah. Yeah, you can see manifesting. This desire, it's what someone's manifesting. This is about becoming aware. This is someone who has everything they need. See, they feel prepared. This is about pre-manifesting. Very nice. Someone who's wise. They've learned everything they can learn on it, and they're applying it to this. This is someone who's ready for change. Yeah, we got the Queen of Swords too. Two people putting up some boundaries, sharing experiences. And these are two people who communicate clearly. They just say it like it is. They don't mince words. See, it's about harmony. And I do feel a lot of it has to do with how two people are going to communicate. Yeah, it's honesty, integrity, but it is about change. Yeah. See, it's an energy of creating change too. Nice. Yeah, I see a little dating and courting and some boundaries. But this is someone who's kind of exploring. See, you want to, let's explore this and see where this goes. And I do see boundaries. Because what I'm feeling is it has to do with communication experiences in the past, people who kind of manipulate. Okay, so watch out for how someone communicates truth, integrity, and honesty. Because it's about being fair, and it has to do with harmony. Yeah, nice. Tell me about the Knight of Cups. This is someone often ready for change or ready to follow their heart. But this is somebody who's been ruled by their head because they're being logical, sensible. They're analyzing this situation. But it's all the things they've experienced. They're applying it to this situation. So definitely I see two people putting up some boundaries. Healthy boundaries though, yeah. The Empress is open. So we have the start of something new. The Empress is open. We have an Emperor and an Empress here. Yeah, two people just talking and maybe even sharing. You're going to share some things you've experienced. And it could have to do with life in general. But it is about dating. And it is an energy of someone following their heart. Now, when I see this, it's about exploring. Someone who wants to explore this. So it has to do with truth. So I feel some of you have experienced someone who manipulated. They wanted to explore, but it didn't go anywhere. So really watch out, because one of these people, these are experiences, but this is one of these people here probably wasn't completely honest. But this is about building a foundation. The Empress is open to receive, and they have boundaries too. And these are both smart people. They're intelligent. They communicate very clearly. So the communication's beautiful. Yeah, very nice. Tell me more about the Queen of Swords. Why is the Queen of Swords here? See, this is moving forward calmly and peacefully, getting acquainted, learning about each other and growing closer. But this is also an energy of, see, this is two people sharing some experiences, and it doesn't mean it's a negative like this happened and that happened, and it could be just a little, right? I see just a little at a time. But what this is doing is teaching the other person that they already know that someone has certain boundaries that can't be crossed. Because I do think someone crossed someone's boundaries in the past. Or they told somebody, let's explore this connection. And I do see someone who's done this, let's explore this. But they never followed through. They weren't reliable. In other words, they weren't telling the whole truth. There was manipulation. These two people are wise. They're not going to be manipulated. But what's going to happen is this is teaching, learning from each other, getting acquainted. So whatever's being shared, let somebody know not to cross those boundaries. Okay? But I think the communication is going to be very good because I see really truthful, honest, open communication. Just saying it like it is. These are two people who will get each other. Yeah, see, it's about it being emotionally available. Yeah, someone being open and available. And all those energies are likely here with the Emperor and the Empress. But this is a person who's leveling up, ready to follow their heart. Yeah, see, it's all about balance between head and heart. Yeah, interesting. Tell me about this King of Cups. This is about, I mean, this is talking, communicating from the heart. And I do see balancing head and heart, but it has to do with communicating feelings and emotions. Yeah. Yeah, it has to do with someone who I feel, there's definitely so much enthusiasm here about moving forward. Yeah, but it has to do with change. Something to do with if somebody will change. Because this is often someone who rushes in very quickly and then often feels a little overwhelmed. So I do think there's going to be boundaries about pressure. Yeah. Somebody doesn't like to be pressured. I don't think either one of these people like to be pressured or pushed into something. Yeah. But I do feel like some of you have, especially the feminine, it could go the other way, but I do see, because I see the tables turning, but I feel that the feminine is definitely open to do. They're willing to explore this. And I would be very careful of someone who has strings attached, and watch out for someone who has their strings attached, okay? Because it is about, it's okay to put up healthy boundaries, okay? Healthy boundaries. Some boundaries have strings attached. In other words, somebody here wanted to kind of explore a connection. They never followed through. It didn't go anywhere. They came in and kind of got what they want and then ran away. And that's what I see, running away. So I do think there is going to be something communicated here. Yeah, it's about someone thinking things through, choosing their battles, but it's about taking decisive action. It's someone who doesn't want someone to get away. So I'd be really, really cautious about someone who doesn't tell you everything, because often the Six of Pentacles, and I know it's here somewhere, I can't remember, and that's often someone who dangles the carrot by going, let's explore this connection, but there's strings attached. And this is where I feel the feminine is thinking this through. And it does have to do with someone here changing, maybe changing their mind. But I do feel it has to do, yeah, it has to do with, this is someone who's open to something new. There needs to be clear communication. Everything needs to be out in the open. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with healthy boundaries, but I do think someone has their strings attached, where they want to explore this connection, but they still want to play the field, or they want an open relationship. Something's amiss. Okay, so really watch out, really listen to what someone has to say, because it is about clarity and seeing things very clearly. And I do think there is something going to be cleared up here. There's something that where someone kind of, it's like choosing the battles and thinking it through, because this is somebody who really revved up. They're really attractive. There's a lot of desire. They rush in and then change their mind. Okay, so this is where I feel two people need to have that conversation, because I do see someone who's waiting. They're willing to be patient to a degree, but they're not going to sit around and wait. Okay, someone who's not going to waste their time with someone, because what happens is it's somebody who keeps somebody kind of stuck in a situation. Because it does feel like strings attached, dangling the carrot, giving somebody that feeling like they're, there'll be a commitment. It's someone who needs to make that commitment. Yeah, because the Queen of Swords also is wise. They have experience where they've likely been through this before. But like I say, it's all about ready for something new and being open. Yeah, I think it could be this person here. Someone who probably made a bad decision and didn't step up to the plate. Because it's about exploring a connection, and then they dangle the carrot. But there's something about the way they communicated that wasn't clear. They didn't tell somebody the whole truth. That's another person I feel for the feminine. So it has to do with a person who needs to come in. They need to know what they want. They need to really know what they want. Yeah. Yeah, because I can see someone looking back feeling beat up. They feel like giving up. But it's about putting all this behind and moving forward. So I do see two people having a conversation with healthy boundaries, not where there's strings attached. Like, to me, it looks like someone who still wants to play the field. They want to play the field, but they want the other person to commit to them, but they're not really committed. Yeah. It's someone who didn't follow through. But like I say, it's often someone who maybe wasn't as prepared as they thought they were. But I still feel the feminine is interested in someone who's emotionally mature. Someone who knows what they want. And it's also about communicating feelings and emotions. These are two people with this energy. They're not overly emotional. They don't need to talk about feelings consistently, but there is a need for clarity. Yeah, so someone trusting their intuition, their inner knowing. See, this is someone who's wise. They're paying attention to the signs and the signals. They're looking for red flags, where someone starts to see red flags. So whatever you do, masculine or feminine, trust your inner knowing. I mean, this really could go somewhere. I see it, but it's like we have somebody here waiting, where the other person's kind of on their own path, and it has to do with two people being in alignment. Yeah. So it's basically about talking truth, speaking your truth, and trusting your inner knowing. So someone already knows the answers they're seeking. So I do think there is a person here who's likely going to be left behind because of the strings attached and not following through. Yeah, but I do see this other energy of two people. See, something isn't going anywhere. And then we have, while somebody is waiting, we have this energy, maybe a Leo energy coming in. Aries, Leo, Sag. But yeah, the star is a feeling of hope. This is where somebody, this has to do with, and the King and Queen of Swords are both here. See, releasing things that no longer serve, but it's about the reality. Looking at the reality of the situation, because this is where things start to get real. So it is about being able to be yourself, to speak up and speak your mind. Yeah. But it's also about releasing. See, putting something in the past, leaving it there. Yeah. It's all about mutual. It's a healing energy, but it has to do with hope. Someone kind of following their heart, feeling like there's a lot of hope. So just be cautious of someone who gives somebody false hope, where they dangle the carrot, they want an open relationship, but they don't really say it. Yeah, because this is where something didn't turn out expected. But it's interesting, we have someone who was waiting for this. Now it's who comes in is what's unexpected. See, unexpected happiness. Nice, yeah. See, two people working together. These are two people who work together. They inspire each other. They create their own path. They go down this path together. Someone's definitely being left behind here. And it is because they dangled that carrot. They wanted to explore this connection, and then they didn't follow through. They weren't reliable. So what they did is basically revealed themselves. But we have these two people here. Aries, Leo, Sag energy coming together. Saying to just trust your intuition. You know, if something doesn't feel right, trust it. But yeah, this is about emotional maturity. And this is all about getting acquainted, growing closer, getting to know each other. So this is someone here who's literally, because of this person coming in, while they're waiting for this person, they're literally dodging a bullet. But the whole point of putting up boundaries, or just sharing information, sharing things about your life, people you've dated, whatever, this is where somebody learns and knows that someone already has boundaries so they can avoid doing the same thing. No open relationships. There has to be some kind of commitment. This is an energy of having to build that foundation. Yeah. And then spending time together. Yeah, this is all about good luck and timing, because you can see someone dangled the carrot. It's like, maybe. Let's it go with the flow and see where it goes. But it never goes anywhere. That's why I feel we have someone who's broke free from that. They broke free. And it's these other two people going to come together. These are two people who like to do things. They want to spend time together. But this is about two people who build each other up. They support each other where they feel confident. They inspire each other. So there is a whole new cycle. See, this is a new chapter. This is somebody moving on from someone else. Like, it's time for this other person to move along. There's nothing to see. Yes, they plan, prepare. They have goals, things they want to achieve. But that, I feel, is the person who dangled the carrot. They wanted, you know, they thought they could breadcrumb someone, or they could just... To me, it's an energy of a person who, there's strings attached with their boundaries. And that's why something never went anywhere. But this is different, because it is about, this is two people just going to let go of expectations. But these are two people who share the things that they're hoping for, that they expect. Because after a period of dating and courting, there's nothing unreasonable about someone expecting a commitment. So that's where I feel these are things going to be talked about. Straight up talk. Yeah, look at that. It's a person who takes the lead. They come in, they feel confident, they're determined to succeed. See, it's a person who is ready. And I do think we have two people who are very much the same. Somebody who could be a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn with some Sag in their chart, Aries or Leo. I do see Cancer, Pisces too. But one of these people is something that's already happened, I feel. It didn't go anywhere. They kept someone waiting too long. Now we have another person coming in, and they know what they want. They're going for it. They're in control of their emotions. They're not ruled by them. You see? It's an Emperor. This is someone who already knows what they want, so they take control. So there's somebody who's being left behind, guaranteed. But this is someone who's planned and prepared. I do see both people. They mirror each other. But one of them is honorable. They have honorable intentions. They have respect and self-respect. So this is an energy of healthy boundaries. And I do see the bigger picture. So this is going to be, this is where two people are going to get each other. And I do think you're going to have really good communication skills. Yeah. I think there's just two people there. It's like two masculines who mirror each other from this feminine's perspective. But one of them is on their own path. They have no intentions of it going anywhere. In fact, they'll put on the brakes. But that's the opportunity for this other person to come in. And that's what I feel is going to happen. It's unexpected. Yeah, it's who you're expecting to come in and how this is going to go. But I really feel it's an energy of building a beautiful foundation. Yeah, King of Wands, somebody who actually knows what they want. It's connecting with the Emperor. In fact, these two people both could be emperors. But this person, I feel, have some Sag in their chart, some Libra. But this is an energy of someone who didn't step up to the plate. Now they're looking at this and seeing it from the other person's perspective. They're putting the shoe on the other foot. The tables are turned, and now they know how the other person felt. So what's really happened is this is whatever this person did to someone else happened to them. And yes, they're healing it and letting it go, but this is another person coming in. Aries, Leo, Sag, yeah, very, very nice. And this is the problem is, when someone does that, they dangle the carrot, there's strings attached, or they want an open relationship. But they're the ones getting, it's who's getting all the benefit. That's the thing. But it is a person who just wants to be single. They just want to be single. They want to keep playing the field, but they want the other person to commit to them. The commitment has to be between two people. Interesting. One person did stay committed, I feel, in this past, because this is somebody where the ship has sailed. It's too late, right? Too little, too late. Yeah, they wanted to be single. But here's these two people coming in. Well, this is someone snooze, you lose. They procrastinated, but it is someone who was probably juggling. Couldn't make up their mind, unable to make a decision. Now it's too late. Because the King of Wands is the one going to have a victory. Tell me more about the King of Wands. What's the King of Wands doing here? The King of Wands is seeing the bigger picture, seeing truth in a situation. See, the Empress is open to receive. This is someone who's not moving. They're still. And they may have options, but I'm going to tell you, this person, it's almost, put it this way, I think they've lost interest. It's like, I don't even care. It is what it is. They've let it go. Yeah. They've let it go. They don't really care. This, I mean, the Emperor, there's the cup. This is all about filling someone's cup, giving them what they want. But this is somebody who, this is a person who's very masculine, very charming. Sometimes we got some Cancer energy, a little hard on the outside, soft on the inside. See, the Empress knows, right? Yeah, their options are open. They want to receive. There it is, building the foundation. This is spending time together at each other's homes, having a good time too. I feel really positive. A solid foundation. See, something built on the solid foundation. It can go somewhere. These are two people who can achieve a lot together too, because the Three of Pentacles, they have a lot in common. And you're going to learn this as you spend time together, that there's a lot in common, but it's what you can achieve together. It's two people lifting the weight off each other's shoulders. Yeah, there it is, the Queen of Wands. See, these are two people who are each other's type. These two are kind of movers, shakers. They like to do stuff. They like to do things. These are doers. They inspire each other. See, they're each other's inspiration. So there's going to be a lot of goals achieved between these two people. Because they are doers. They do things. This is someone who kind of procrastinates and never really want to do anything. They're on their own path. So these two people are similar, but one of them doesn't compare to the other. Why? This is the two people who I feel there's harmony. And they speak straight up. They say what's on their mind. They both get each other. Not this person. This person's just someone who's on their own path. They just want to be single. Yep, they're being left behind. This is someone being left behind because they have lack. Yep, they never followed through. Just like I say, they never laid a foundation. Now it's too late because these two people are going to come together. This is a lovely couple because the King and Queen of Swords. I mean, we have Emperor and Empress, so all the energy there. These are two people who are very much aware of the things they have in common once they spend some time together. But this is what these two people are manifesting. They're creating change. They're going to create their own world, and they're going to go down this path together. And I see a lot of happiness, a lot of good times here. A lot of really good times. These two people see the bigger picture. They get it. This is someone here who kind of, I don't know, they're super, super slow. See the pause looking at things? See, they didn't put the shoe on the other foot. Now they are, but it's too late. Now they see. And I wouldn't be surprised because whatever they did to this feminine is being done to them, and now they get it. But it's too late. The ship has sailed. Because these two people, their ships are coming in. Look at that, things movement. These two people are busy. They like to keep busy. Of course, they have lazy days, but these two people kind of like to keep busy. They like to talk, too. But yeah, this could literally go somewhere. It's not some, there's no dragging the feet here. I do see a lot of talk and a lot of communication. But these, put it this way, these two people, I do see taking them trips, taking vacations together. They're almost like the King and Queen of Pentacles. They're just little busier. They move a little fast. And I do see a little mover shaker energy between these two people because they're going to inspire each other. It's just a beautiful, happy home, happy life. Yeah, these two people are going to spend a lot of time, and it's like things that they like to do together. They literally like to do things together. This person, not so much. They're being left out in the cold, being left behind because of lack of communication. They never followed through. They wouldn't make a commitment. This is someone who made a bad decision, but see, they sat there in their head. They needed to take off the blindfold and see. And I do feel, planning and preparing, and I do think they went through this energy. But I think this is they procrastinated, but from the Queen of Pentacles or the Queen of Wands energy, this is like, no longer interested. I don't even care if this person reaches out. I don't even think they'll respond. It's just a person who dangled the carrot. They dropped little breadcrumbs. They were breadcrumbing. And I do think they were kind of cheap with their time, their energy, maybe their money, whatever it was. These are two people who are also very generous with each other, but they inspire each other so much. I mean, I do see a lot of passion, a lot of drive and ambition. And this, even when these two people are kind of at home, I don't know what they do, but they're happy. They're positive. They look at the bright side. So take care. I really wish you the best, and we'll see you soon.